Welcome back to Apex Sci-Fi. In the modern galaxy, the concept of privacy is an antique. Most advanced species are constantly connected, whether through biological telepathy, neural links, or high-frequency radio bursts. To the Psylans, the most dominant telepathic race in the sector, the universe is a loud, vibrant hum of thoughts and data. To them, existence is noise. They track their enemies by their mental footprint or their electromagnetic leakage. In a world of constant communication, it is impossible to hide. If you think, you are seen. If you breathe, your heat signature is logged. If you use a radio, you are a beacon. The Psylans believed that no army could ever surprise them. They operated on the principle that the loudest species wins because they have the most data. Then they declared war on humanity. They expected to hear the roar of human engines and the chatter of human command frequencies. Instead, they found something they hadn't encountered in a million years. Something that didn't exist in their vocabulary. They found the void. This is the story of the Shadow War on Zeter Prime, and why the galaxy learned that the most dangerous predator isn't the one that screams, but the one you can't hear even when he's standing right behind you. The Psylan High Command was frustrated. Zeter Prime was a jungle world, thick with interference, but their psychic sonar should have easily picked up the thousands of human marines sent to defend the planet. Report, Archon Vallis commanded, his three eyes glowing with frustration. The humans landed 3 sun cycles ago. Where are their thoughts? Where is their electronic chatter? There is nothing, Archon, the sensor officer replied, his voice trembling. It is as if the jungle is empty. But our perimeter drones are being destroyed every hour. No explosions. No gunshots. They just stopped transmitting. Vallis looked at the map. It showed a dead zone that was slowly expanding toward their base. Impossible. Even if they turn off their radios, their minds must radiate. Every creature has a hum. Search for the hum. Deep in the undergrowth of Zeter Prime, Sergeant Kalen of the Terran Pathfinders sat perfectly still. He had been in the same position for 6 hours. His breathing was shallow, rhythmic, and slowed to a near crawl through years of meditative training. His suit wasn't powered. It was a passive camouflage mesh that absorbed light and heat rather than reflecting it. He carried no electronic devices. No GPS, no active HUD, no digital comms. Kalen was a throwback to an older era of humanity. He was an ambush predator. He watched a Psylan patrol pass just 5 meters away. The Psylans were elegant, glowing beings, their minds linked in a constant, buzzing hive stream. They were talking to each other without words, their collective consciousness scanning the environment for any interference. To the Psylans, Kalen didn't exist. To their telepathy, he was as silent as a rock. To their infrared, he was as cold as a tree. Humanity has a unique biological trait, the ability to focus. When a human enters a flow state, their brain activity narrows to a single, sharp point. We don't broadcast our thoughts to the world, we hoard them. And in the silence of the Terran mind, there is a dark place where the hunter lives. Kalen signaled his team, not with a radio but with a simple bird call whistle, a sound so natural the Psylan sensors ignored it as background noise. From the shadows, 4 other Pathfinders emerged. They didn't use plasma rifles. They used ceramic knives and pressurized pneumatic dart guns. Weapons that didn't create a heat spike or an electromagnetic pulse. One by one, the Psylan patrol began to vanish. A Psylan soldier would step into the fog and he would simply not come back. The hive mind would feel a sudden void where a teammate used to be. No scream, no flash of light. Just a sudden, terrifying silence. Something is in the fog, a Psylan warrior projected, his mental voice frantic. I feel nothing. My sensors show 0 life forms. But my brother is gone. The Psylans began to fire their pulse rifles blindly into the dark. The bright violet beams cut through the trees, illuminating the jungle for a split second. They saw nothing. The Pathfinders were already gone, moved to a new position before the light could reveal them. They were ghosts in the machine, exploitation, the Psylans' reliance on technology and telepathy. Archon Vallis watched the feed from the last surviving member of the patrol. The soldier was hyperventilating, his mental signal a chaotic mess of fear. Look behind you. Vallis screamed into the telepathic link. The soldier turned, his glowing eyes wide. He saw a shape. A shadow darker than the rest of the jungle. It didn't have a heat signature. It didn't have a thought pattern. It was a man covered in matte black mud and mesh, holding a blade made of volcanic glass. For a fraction of a second, the Psylan saw the human's eyes. They weren't glowing with power. They were cold, focused, and terrifyingly calm. The feed went dark. The Psylans withdrew from Zeter Prime within a week. They couldn't fight an enemy they couldn't find. They called it the Void Silence, a psychological trauma that affected their entire species. They realized that their constant connectivity was a weakness. They were so used to the noise of the galaxy that they had forgotten how to deal with the quiet. In the human military we call it going dark. It is the realization that 4 billion years of evolution as ambush predators gave us a superpower. We can be still. We can be quiet. And we can hunt. Today when alien empires talk about the Terran threat, they don't talk about our nukes or our ships first. They talk about the shadows. They talk about the fact that if a human wants to find you, you won't know they are there until you feel the cold steel against your neck. In the great halls of the Psylan Empire, they now have a new proverb. Fear the species that does not speak. For while the galaxy is screaming, the human is listening. And in the silence, he has already decided how you will die. This has been Apex Sci-Fi. We aren't the loudest, but we are the most patient. If you've ever felt like someone was watching you in a dark room, hit that like button. Maybe it was just your imagination, or maybe it was a pathfinder. Comment below. Would you survive a night in a jungle being hunted by an enemy you couldn't hear or see? Subscribe. And keep the noise down. Signal lost. Silence remains.